Rosy friends, it's Julie, and today I'm going to start the first part of a two-part video about exercise when you have rosacea. I feel that I've talked about the fact that I exercise in the past, but I've never actually talked about exercising and how I do it without really messing up my skin, especially if I'm having a really good skin day, because it is tempting to try and skip workouts if I'm not having a flare-up and if my skin actually doesn't look all that red. It looks red every single day. I'm not wearing makeup now. It does have some pinkness basically constantly. It's a part of the permanent redness that I have on my face from leaving it for so long. It took me over 10 years to actually start doing the right thing to it and taking care of it. And I had a misdiagnosis at first. It was diagnosed as acne, and I was given prescription acne medication, which made my skin way worse. But I've talked about that a lot in other videos. Now it means a lot to me when my skin is having a very good day, and still I exercise anyway. I exercise pretty much every day of the week. Sometimes I will take one day off, or I'll just do yoga that day. But even yoga, I've got some sort of specific strategies in mind to keep things under control. So I thought that I would talk about the things that I do to keep exercising and yet keep flare-ups and pinkness, redness under control in this video, and then I would do a second video where I talk about the actual exercises that I do. To start, overall, I feel that there are some concepts that I keep in mind whenever I'm going to do a workout. The first one is staying cool, because being overheated will make pretty much anybody's face change color. It'll get redder, it'll get darker, it'll get different in some way. So when I start to get overheated, I turn into a tomato. And so basically I take a lot of steps to make sure that I can control my temperature and keep myself cool. So if I'm doing a workout, especially cardio, something that I'm really going to get moving, going to get sweating, things like that, then I'm going to dress in clothing that will keep me cool. So even if I feel freezing at the start of a workout, for example, it's winter right now, it's cold out. If I'm starting my workout, I will usually start in something that is sleeveless and something that will breathe. So that's very important. Just because it's wintertime, it doesn't mean that I'm going to dress any warmer when I'm doing my workouts, because the cooler I dress, the longer I can go into my workout before I actually start to feel the heat in my face. The next thing that I always focus on is hydration. I prep in advance. I drink water before my workout, so I'm sipping water for at least an hour before the workout and making sure that I have lots of water kind of absorbed into my system. I sip water throughout my workout. I take lots of breaks to take in a little bit more water, and then I will drink more water after my workout to make sure that anything that I sweat out has been replaced and my body can still keep itself cool. Water is an amazing part of the body's temperature regulation, and so drinking water can only help you. And that's really the same all the live long day, but especially if you're doing something that's going to warm you up. Next, again, if I'm doing things like cardio where I'm really going to be getting sweaty and stuff like that, I use one of these. I've talked about these in the past before. This one's called an ice towel. I've seen them called similar names like that: cooling towel, cooling sports towel, cooling sports scarf. Mine came in a container like this. They don't all, sometimes they just sell the scarf by itself. Mine came in a container like this. I like this because I can put water in there and then dunk this into it and let it cool down. It also has this little carabiner thingy on the lid that helps it so that I can hook it onto a bag or something if I'm going somewhere. In the summertime, that's really handy. In the wintertime, I don't really need it at all. But I do use this in the wintertime for workouts to keep cool. I'll usually put it around my neck, like I'll do one of these around the neck, or I'll even use it as a headband if I'm feeling headbandy that day. No. But yep, so using these, basically you wet them and then you give them a couple of shakes in the air and they become so cool. Like they really will take your temperature down. They make a big difference, and if I do that in advance and wear it, then I can help to keep my temperature, especially in my neck and face, down. So that's why I wear it a lot of times as a scarf or around here, is because the whole idea is to keep this part of me as cool as possible, even if I'm doing things that are going to warm me up. Next, I do control the types of workouts that I do so that I don't become too overheated. On occasion, I will still really go for it. It's so important for my mental health to do regular exercise, and physical health for that matter. And you know, I am actively working to lose a bit of weight right now because I gained weight last year that I don't need. So I'm trying to get rid of it again in a healthy, slow way, just by eating healthy and getting sleep and exercising, not doing anything fad diet or anything to really report in on. I do find that it makes an extremely large difference when it comes to panic attacks, anxiety, things like that. Whenever I feel that anxiety building up and you get that kind of chest tension, things like that, that really unpleasant feeling, or I get that overactive brain spirally feeling, then I can hop up and do just a really brief exercise. In those cases, pretty intense exercise is best, but anything repetitive, you get almost into that hypnotic motion, have some really great music playing in a headset, that kind of thing, and I'll feel better in a few minutes. And even taking my anxiety down will take down redness. So sometimes my workouts, even the intense ones, will actually work in favor of keeping my redness under control. It's one of the reasons that definitely one of the major reasons that I think that exercising is still a very, very important thing, even if you have rosacea, especially because anxiety and stress are such huge triggers. That said, I do try to keep anything high intensity very, very short. So I've tried high intensity interval training, which I really like because they have breaks in between. So it lets your heart rate come back down again before you bring it back up. But I'll also do, I'm up to 6 minutes now. I'll do like 6 minutes of intense workout per hour and then just go back to work again and then do another 6 minutes. I didn't start with 6 minutes. I started with, I think, 4 and then built up to it because 4 was all I could do at that fitness level and without actually getting really overheated and stuff like that. But then as my fitness level improved from doing this, then now I'm up to 6 where I can just really go crazy on my exercise machine thing, and then my face still doesn't heat up yet, so that's really great. I love that. And then I'll do a more moderate workout for about 30 minutes per day. That's all cardio. When I do strength training, which I also do 2 to 3 times per week, I do that very, very carefully because I don't want to do anything too intense, because any really intense lifting, I find crunches, anything with that kind of lying down and then like raising up like that I can do a few of them and I'm fine, and then suddenly the rush hits my face. I don't know, maybe my face doesn't like crunches. I'm not sure what that is, but those I just basically avoid. The really heavy, too many push-ups. I'll keep that push-ups, things like that, to a certain number. As I've become familiar with my fitness level, I know what that number is. For crunches are really basically out of the question, but I'll do similar exercises and only do so many repetitions before pausing or breaking or switching to a different exercise, because I've found out how many of them I can do before it really starts to show on my face, and I stop before that. So sometimes a little bit of trial and error is really important to getting to know what parts of exercise make you red, and then just stop slightly before that. And then yoga, I try to do more often than I actually do. Realistically, I'm down to about once a week for yoga. I would like to bring that back up to 3 times a week. I found that any of the upright poses are great for me. I love all the warrior poses. I feel super strong and things with them. Anything upright, anything standing, anything sitting upright, and any kind of twists where you're sitting, that's all fine. Downward facing dog, basically because you're upside down, I find that the blood rushes to my face and my face turns red. Plank is hit and miss. Basically, sometimes I will give that a try, and if it doesn't look like it's working well for me, then I will call it quits and just do something else instead. I think basically the next step for the way that I would identify that is that I've come to understand my fitness level, and as it progresses I pay attention to how much I can do, and then I do slightly less than that just to make sure that I'm not using my exercises to light up my face. Still, it does happen, and I just do everything I can to cool and calm my skin and afterward so that it will ease off pretty quickly. Sometimes I just have to deal with the fact that I've turned my face red, but I still think that it's very, very important to exercise. After a workout, sometimes I do absolutely nothing. It's just a matter of hydration and things like that. If it's one of my little 6-minute sessions, that sort of thing, then it doesn't really matter. If it's a really sweaty session or an activity that I've been doing for a long time, or an activity that has actually flared out my skin, I will usually follow that up with thermal water. For me, that doesn't bother my skin. I know other people find that thermal water will, just spritzing that on the skin will actually dry them out. So know how that your skin reacts, like do patch tests and things like that before you actually go for it with that. Sitting in front of a fan works for me pretty nicely, or I will actually just do my next skincare routines for, maybe it'll be my nighttime skincare routine right then and there, even if it's, you know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. I will do that, I'll do it early instead so that I can just basically cool down my face, rinse away any dirt or anything, any sweat and things like that that may still be on my face that would allow bacteria to build up, and then replace all my moisturizers and all those things, and get my skin ready for the end of the day and for overnight. So even treating the skin using the right skincare after workouts, I've found has been very, very helpful for me if I've gotten really sweaty and things like that. If I'm exercising outside in the wintertime, I will usually use a salve or something like that, something a little bit heavier duty skincare without a salve, maybe a skin oil, and put that on my face to protect it because the cold and the wind will flare me. I also wear a scarf over this part of my face as much as possible, basically as close as I can get to my glasses without fogging them as I breathe. And that has been very helpful this year too. I've found that that has made a big difference over what I was experiencing in previous years, especially when I was walking dogs. So those are the main steps that I take to keep my skin under control while I'm doing workouts every day, or at least nearly every day. If I've forgotten anything, I will leave it in the comments below, but that was everything that I could think of as I was doing my workouts. Like, what am I conscious of? What changes have I made here? So do you do anything differently to be able to do your workouts, or do you avoid workouts altogether because of the flare-ups that it causes? If so, I hope you will comment and share with us, because I know there are a lot of us that struggle with exercise with rosacea, because redness does tend to flare under those conditions with heavy lifting and sweat and all of those sorts of things. So I would love to know what you do to keep yours under control, or if you are dodging exercise altogether because you just haven't found your groove yet that way. Yeah, so I hope this has been interesting. I hope you are interested in the next video as well, which will actually discuss the actual exercises that I'm doing during all those different sessions and things. I don't know if this will work for everybody, that this is what is working for me, so I just thought it would be fun to share it. But yeah, I do hope that you like this kind of video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. That way I will know. And if you want to see more videos like this when I make them, and you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I hope you will, and click the bell button if you want to be alerted when my new videos come out. And other than that, I will see you next time.